So you're running a business, right? And you've probably been told a million times, you need a website. But let's be real for a second. A lot of those websites end up as little more than shiny, expensive digital business cards. And for a smaller, medium-sized business, that's just a massive missed opportunity. A great website, it isn't just a marketing thing. It's your number one salesperson, your trust builder, and your top recruiter all working for you 24/7. So let's dig into how you can actually commission a site that works as hard as you do.
Okay, so you've made the decision. It is time for a new website. What happens next? Well, for almost every single business owner or manager out there, the very first thought that pops into their head is the exact same question. And there it is. What does a website cost? Look, it is a perfectly reasonable question. Of course it is. You have a budget, you have financial realities, and you need to know if you can even afford this thing. It just feels like the most logical place to begin the conversation. But here's the twist. While it is without a doubt the most common first question, it is also the absolute most misleading one. Starting with cost, well, it frames the entire project as an expense that you need to minimize rather than seeing it as an investment that's designed to bring you a return. It literally sets you off on the wrong path from day one. So, if asking how much does it cost is the wrong path, then what's the right one? Well, it's all about making a fundamental shift in how you think about it. From price to performance. The right question has nothing to do with the money you'll spend. It's about the value you're going to create. It all starts with your business goals. Now this is a powerful question. It instantly reframes the entire project. We're not talking about cost anymore, are we? We're talking about effectiveness. We are focused on a crystal clear outcome, winning more qualified business. All of a sudden, your website isn't just some expense on a spreadsheet. It is a strategic asset designed from the ground up to generate revenue. This really gets to the heart of the two different mindsets. The wrong focus sees a website as this passive thing, a static digital brochure. But the right focus sees it for what it truly should be, a dynamic machine, an engine for growth that actively brings in new customers and even attracts new talent to your team. Okay, so how do we actually build a website that functions like that kind of strategic tool? It is not about buying a simple design package. A high-performing website is built on 4 essential pillars and, this is key, they have to be built in the right order.
And here they are. First, strategy. That's knowing your destination before you even start the journey. Second, structure. That's creating the clear map that gets your visitors where they need to go. Third, content. The actual words on the page that persuade and sell. And fourth, the technology. That's the powerful engine that makes it all run smoothly. Skipping any of these steps or trying to do them out of order is just a recipe for a failed project.
Let's just zoom in on that first pillar for a second. Strategy before layout. This is, without a doubt, the most critical phase of the entire process. Jumping straight into design without defining your audience, your core message, and your business goals is like trying to build a house with no blueprint. Sure, you might end up with something that looks nice, but it's going to be generic, totally ineffective, and basically interchangeable with your competitor's site. Okay, let's circle back to cost, but this time, let's do it with our new strategic glasses on. Instead of just asking for a single price, you need to understand the components that actually drive that price up or down. This is how you learn to evaluate a proposal based on its value, not just the number at the bottom of the page. This table is incredibly useful for understanding where the costs really come from. And I want you to look closely at that typical mistakes column. For page scope, the mistake is saying, let's start small without any plan for growth, which just leads to expensive rebuilds later. For copy, companies often treat it like an afterthought, writing it internally at the last minute, which just kills your conversion rates. And check out integrations. Forgetting to mention your CRM or booking tool until after you get a quote, that can cause major headaches and blow your budget. Every single one of these mistakes has a real financial consequence. Now that we get the strategic mindset and we know what the real cost drivers are, let's talk about the big pitfalls. Knowing about these common mistakes will help you avoid them and save yourself a whole lot of time and money. These are some of the most frequent reasons website projects go wrong. People often judge a website only by its design, but all the real work is in the strategy that's underneath. Another big error is trying to do way too much at once instead of focusing on what's most important. Then there's the problem of having no content owner after the site launches, so it just withers away. And finally, a huge one is not having a plan or budget for maintenance, which leads to a slow, insecure, and eventually broken website.
So what's your next move? It's to completely reframe your search. You are not just shopping for a website based on price. You're looking for a strategic partner who really understands your business goals and can help you build a valuable asset, not just a pretty web page. This is your action plan. Start right here. Before you talk to any agency, get crystal clear on your scope. Make a list of what's a must-have versus what's just a nice-to-have. And be brutally honest with yourself about what your business actually needs to grow, not just what you think a website is supposed to have.
So I am going to leave you with one last thought. As you look at your next website project, I want you to ask yourself, what are you really building here? A passive, dusty digital brochure? Or are you building a hardworking, active sales channel that is going to drive your business forward for years to come? The path you take is determined by the very first question you ask.